So, what's up, guys? It's me, Dark Huntress, and I know it's been a couple of years, good couple of years since you guys saw me last. Um, I don't really have a good reason, but mentally for me, it was hell. Let's put it like that. And I know I put a teaser out on my Instagram. Ooh, there's a video coming. And I did film. I filmed 2 videos for you guys. Well, I started one, never finished it. But I just didn't have the motivation to post either one of them. And one of them is me literally being emotionally vulnerable with you guys because I was going through like one of the hardest moments in my life. But just to bluntly put it, the up until I want to say maybe earlier this year, like I was going through it, like mentally I wasn't there. And I had no motivation to post. And I've been thinking about it more and more recently, and I guess now is finally time I tell you guys what happened to me for like the bajillionth time. But I'm just gonna tell you now, I'll just post when I feel like posting. As far as my TikTok, yes, I do post more on there. However, I've been taking a bit of break from there as well because I found myself distracting myself and like with it and everything. So I took a kind of a break from it. But I'm going to give you guys an explanation. Whether or not you guys care, it's fine. But like, I just feel like I owe you guys, especially because I was finally starting to climb again and go somewhere and then dropped off the face of the earth. Kind of. Might as well have. But, so basically, this is going to be a very hard story to tell, especially because a couple of viewers will probably not be expecting me to do it because I know them personally, but I still feel like I owe you guys. I'll probably use fake names, but I'll figure out as I go along, just to figure out so that way you guys can know who's who and what did what, okay? Let's start kind of at the beginning. But before I get that, I need to just let you guys know I am in a much better place now than I ever was. Because the last time I even posted like a one-on-one with you guys like this, I was not in a good place. I really wasn't. I shouldn't have even been posting in the first place. And I also had zero motivation to post. And I felt like I was forcing myself. Just to put it bluntly. And I still have almost no motivation. I feel like I'm also too busy to do anything for you guys. And obviously my hair's short now. There's a lot of time has passed. To start, like, where the decline happened and, like, why the last couple of years were hell for me. I was living at home, which I'm living at home again, which I know I posted video, like, or a picture teasing you guys, oh, am I moving? I did. We'll get to that. So, I grew up in my house, obviously, with my parents. I, like, lived there, like, technically here until I want to say, I moved out in 2020, and that was a couple years ago, obviously. But for me, mentally, I didn't get along with my parents very well either. Like, we were constantly at odds with each other. And then I moved out for a year with the guy I was dating. You guys know I mentioned him before multiple times. I never mentioned by name, and I will not mention him by name because it's just not in me personally, especially with some of the stuff that I'm about to get into. I will not be naming him because one, it's just not in me, and two, I'm not a petty person, and I'm not gonna do anything like that to him. Like, as much as he hurt me, I'm not gonna do that to him. I'm not gonna, you know what I mean? I actually had a mutual friend of ours be like, well, I'm surprised you didn't do a face reveal or whatever kind of thing. The name drop, I don't know, and blast them all over the internet. Like, No, like, no. I'm not that kind of person. But anyway, moved out with with the guy I was dating at the time, and someone I used to work with when I worked at McDonald's. Yes, I used to work at McDonald's, and I was manager, and I would never recommend anyone to work there ever. Not unless they improve, like, and like more modern. I don't know, something. I don't know. Just make the work conditions better. Which I've actually like full on decided I'm gonna do a video about my time there and why it sucked. But anyway, I moved in with her and her fiance, to which he had to come all the way from South Carolina to move in with us. Everything was sort of great from the beginning, but that was kind of also more into the decline. The guy I was dating at the time, we were already fighting. Not a lot, but occasionally. And when we moved in together, things only got worse from there. Like, first in the beginning, like when you move in together, it's great. Like, it's awesome. Like, you know, you're getting along. You're spending a lot more time together than you would. But it was also hard because he had a night job. Still does, as far as I'm aware. But let's just say as time went on, he kind of like grew distant from me, and he kind of changed as a person, unless he was always like that and I didn't notice. And things kind of just like progressively got worse as the roommates turned against me. And then we had my high school best friend move in with us too, which was actually against our leaves, but I was like, I don't want my best friend to be homeless, like one of them anyway. So he moved in with us. And then things got from bad to worse when his best friend moved in with us. And he didn't like me. Like, he physically hurt me. And, like, it was a bad situation for me, like, overall. As far as that goes. But, like I said, like, the beginning of that relationship, like, that I was in, though, like, the first year, maybe a little less than that, not really any issues. But, like I said, things progressively got worse. Sorry for the interruption. My mother walked in, which is another reason why I can't really record videos, because she doesn't understand. She knows right now, instead of wait a minute, or like when I'm talking to somebody, or whatever. So, that's gonna be me time to figure out how to edit again. As far as I know, I was going into that relationship and stuff. Like I said, like, once we moved in together, things kind of like progressively got worse from there, like especially with having 6 people in a 2-bedroom apartment, and the fights would progressively get worse and worse and worse. It never got physical, but for context, like, go watch Mental Healness on TikTok. Like, shout out to him. He helped me realize what was going on and that I wasn't crazy, and I still have, like, let's just say I have some evidence in store, but I will never, ever, ever really reveal it to you guys, and no one will ever find it until the day I die. So, yeah. That's another new thing. I have a cat now, and she's trying to figure out how to get to me, because I have crap ton of stuff on my bed, because I am not in my normal room, but you probably remember some of my, old room. Everybody meet Layla. Little camera shy, I guess, but she's a cute cat. She was one of the better things that came out of that whole situation. I'll get into that towards the end, once I describe the last couple of years. Anyway. So anyway, but for context, I'm like pretty sure it was a narcissist. Like, I have dealt with narcissists before. He also said, "Oh, I called everyone a narcissist." I don't call everyone a narcissist. Like, there's probably about 5 people I've called about a narcissist in my life. So that's not calling everyone a narcissist. I do it based on behaviors and certain things. Because, anyway, no need to mention that. But anyway. Then came a bigger, like, hold on. Well, then towards, like, I want to say January, February 2021, me and him decided to go to Florida, because one of our close friends, like a mutual friend that we have that we're kind of close to, I haven't talked to her in a while, I needed to talk to her. But anyway, her mom died. And I just felt like it was the right thing to do, and I'm glad I did, to go visit her because she needed the support, and I just wanted to be a really good friend, and he just honestly wanted to tag along because he thought it wasn't fair and this, that, and the other. But, yeah. Anyway, so I also had to tag along my older brother, my biological brother. So yeah, I have met my biological family, and I love them all dearly, very, very much so. Oh, she's purring, she's happy. Anyway, anyway, we went down there. Things looked like they were going to get better, and they did for a little bit. And I still remember a conversation where it was like, well, like he was like, "Oh, we'll see where things go." But like I said, I just felt like I was crazy the entire time, and like I need to get my emotions in check, and you need to grow up. Like, you guys have known me, like, it was in a situation where he would consistently put me down, and I have shown other people like the evidence that I mentioned before, and they 1,000% agree with me. So it felt good to get affirmation, I guess, or confirmation. I don't know. Just that proof that I wasn't crazy. Sorry, I'm just getting emotional just talking about it because, like, I also tell myself I wouldn't really want to talk about it much after a certain situation that happened, like maybe last month, involving her, believe it or not, and she just bit me because, yeah. Anyway, but anyway, like I said, that happened, and then skip forward to May. That's the second video that I mentioned. Well, actually, the first video I mentioned was I started vlogging the moving experience. What happened that day, everything, and I never finished it because that's when I had the motivation to do it, I wasn't getting along with either one of the roommates, and I found out several months ago, actually, after I moved out, from a source that they, including my ex-boyfriend, tried to conspire to get me kicked out of the apartment, despite the fact that I'm the one that got them there in the first place. I'm the one that went around looking and applying and this, that, and the other. Yes, one of the aforementioned other roommates was the head of household, but she literally let it get to her head. It felt she had an ego problem. Even her own twin brother mentioned that. Speaking of her twin brother, that's where I got this cat from. But I didn't get her till like after I moved out. But anyway, I'm not really, like I said, I don't think I'm gonna real names because then they'll just get even more pissed at me. They're probably gonna go flooding in the comment section, be like, "Oh, this didn't happen like that." It did. There were multiple witnesses. Anyway, but skipping ahead to May, towards the second video that I said I made for you guys that I never really posted. I still have it, and I do want to plan on posting it, but it's just the rawness of what happened. May 17th, 2021. The hardest day of my life. But my grandmother passed away. And I loved her very, very, very much. She was my biggest inspiration in life, and I literally aspired to be just like her. And I am still doing everything that I can to be like her. When I found out, I couldn't even speak. Like, I was just, she and I were very, very close. And I have told all my friends of this before. She was more of a mom to me than my own adoptive mother, which to be more specific, because I do talk to my birth parents too, and that's how I distinguish for other people who don't understand how my brain works. I was very, very close to her. As for the video, I recorded a video for you guys, and I kind of changed the lyrics. You guys all know I have an obsession with Taylor Swift. And then the song Soon You'll Get Better, because I related to it so much. Because back in 2018 was the start of her decline of health, and the nurse said, "Oh, this is going to be the beginning of the end." And I chose not to believe it. But it really was, because after that, it was in and out, in and out. And then the pandemic hit, and then I couldn't see her, and it was one of the hardest things to do in my life. And then my adoptive older brother went to go stay with her. God bless his heart, because none of us could. And I didn't want to up and leave my life because, you know, I kind of had a life established here. And I wish I had, because then I could have been more of a help. But I need to present. But, like I said, it was just in and out. And I did have the opportunity to see her in March, because once the guidelines started getting lifted and people could start going out to go visit again, I was able to go visit her. I stayed out there for a couple of weeks. I'm glad I did. I was only intending to stay for a week. Then my brother's like, can you stay another week so I can go on vacation? And I was like, sure. Sure. Why not? And I did. And I'm glad I did, because that means I didn't, when I left that day, the day I didn't realize it'd be the last time I would see her. Because the next time I saw her, she was in a coffin. That was even harder to see. I had, the stupidest thing though was, like, at the time, and it wasn't the first time when I visited her, I wasn't really working, but like I was doing door dashing, which it was okay. But when I actually got an actual job, because my roots were like, door dashing isn't a real job. It was a job, and I was making decent money. But they were like, yeah. But anyway, the amount of gaslighting I got from all of them. Good Lord. And like I said, one of them was actually physically abusive too. Especially from my ex, he was emotionally abusive. All of the arguments, it was not helpful. With him, me trying to bring up a problem with an issue of something that he was doing, and he would downplay it and make it do like whatever I was doing was a bigger deal, even though it wasn't, and just nothing ever really ended up getting resolved, which I think honestly, when I went out to, like, the process of when I went out to go see for my grandmother's funeral, I think I realized that was beginning of the end, because I talked to my sister-in-law. We had a very deep, long conversation. I don't think we've ever had a conversation like that before, because I finally was open and honest about everything going on in that relationship. Loki, she did give me hope that it would last, but it did not. And I'm actually really glad it didn't, because things could have evolved to so much worse. So, I went out there, but never worked 7-Eleven. They fired me because I went to my grandmother's funeral. They were like, oh, it's a no call, no show. I did inform someone who worked there. Like, I texted him, because like I said to you guys, she and I were very, very close, but they didn't get that. And so they fired me. But it's not like they didn't know. You know what I mean? But that is what it is. Never gonna work there again. And I also have been avoiding the place since, because but anyway, then I came back, and my ex was even more kind of distant towards me. Like, we weren't really spending any quality time together, and I started initiating movie night, because I'm like, I want some kind of quality time. And I wanted to be able to be close to him, and he would just start finding every other excuse not to spend time with me, and I was like, wait, what? And then the final shoe dropped, the other shoe dropped, which is the most thing I was most afraid of. So at that point, we also had my brother living with us, the same one that went to Florida with us, because I mostly did him for a secondary driver, also just for context for that. That's why he came with us, because I don't want to drive, and also I wasn't 25 yet, so technically I couldn't rent a car without having an additional fee. But anyway, so did that. But anyway, but he had to spend the night at his mom's, his adoptive mom, because he's my biological brother. But he spent the night there because he had an appointment the day before, and I was like, okay. And so while he was at his appointment house, I asked my ex if I could borrow his ride. Like, I'm not gonna say what it was, because I don't want to reveal it, because then it might give away who it is. But anyway, because I didn't want to pay for parking, because I live in a kind of a touristy area, especially during the summer, and parking gets outrageously expensive. And if I used his thing, then I could technically park right in front of where I was working at the time, and I actually enjoyed working there up until like the why I quit. But that's a whole nother thing. But like I said, my mental health started declining very, very badly because of the roommates, my brother, and everything like just happening around me, the job thing. It just kept getting worse and worse and worse and worse and worse. And then, like I said, the final shoe dropped. So like I said, that night I asked him if I could use it, and he said yes. And so I was like, cool. So I went to bed, got up the next morning, got ready for work, and in walks my brother saying, because my brother worked with me too, for context. And he was like, can I use your thing to get to work? And then he goes, yes, but you told me to use it. And he's like, well, no, he's going to use it. And I'm like, you told me first. And this led into an argument between my brother and him. And I was like, you know what? Not going to deal with this. I went to work. And the entire time at work, I am texting the group chat while my ex is asleep. Because like I said, he had a night job. And we all voted to kick my brother out. And so we did. Now, when I got home that night, I was in for a rude awakening because the second I walked in the door, my ex starts yelling at me. Because it was not fair to him. When people start messing with my relationships, I get very, very defensive because it's happened before in the past, and I don't let it happen. And my brother also, himself also causes other issues, not outside relationship issues. And I wasn't having it. So that's another reason why. And he's, like I said, he started yelling at me, so I went up to my car. And I calmed myself, came back in, he starts yelling at me again. And inadvertently, I was like, you know what, that's it. And I break up with him right then and there. And yet we still live together. And I went into my room and started crying. Because I never thought I'd have the guts to do it. Because of how I was being treated. And I thought I had no way out. Especially because Elise was nowhere near up yet. And so I had to deal with that. And then a week later... For context, guys, like I said, I struggle with my mental health quite every so often. But, there are parts that I'm leaving out, but that's because of privacy reasons and this, that, and the other. I relapsed and I tried to unalive myself and ended up going to the hospital for a week. I knew that because I'd been hospitalized before for the same exact thing. This time was because of the roommates and him. The time before that was because I had someone, like the person I was dating at the time, one of his friends turned everyone against me, including him, and that's why I did that. And like I said, this time it was a combination of everything else. And then I got out. And I kind of just dealt with everything. And just for everyone's sake, I am seeing a therapist. No, I'm not medicated. Have I been lying to my therapist that I haven't taken my medication? Yes. But I've been relatively fine, since then, because I, started the medication because, like I said, he was making me feel like I was crazy. The person I was seeing at the time, So I felt like I was taking it because of him, because he made me feel like I was the problem and this, that, and the other. So I get out and I meet with my college best friend, who is my now boyfriend. Like I said, I am a lot better. So yeah, he asked me out in a joke, half joke, because we actually liked each other for years. And I just kind of pushed it down because I was like, no. Because of other circumstances that I won't go into. And so, yeah. And we've been dating ever since. And he and I have been together for a year and a little over 2 months. And it's been a lot better. The only issue is that we work together and it's okay. But ever since I left that apartment, I literally, he and I were, my ex and I weren't even together. He and I got into a fight one night before he went to work. Because, even though we broke up, the fight didn't stop. He still kept going at it. And I was like, okay. And, like, no one believed me. And that's why I started gathering evidence, because I was like, this is my proof. I'm not crazy. But like I said, I put whatever I could into my car, and I went to my parents' house, and I didn't look back until like less than a week later. We took my boyfriend's dad's truck, put the rest of my stuff on it, and I haven't really been back since, other than the cat situation, which now I'll get into. Long story short, my roommate had a cat. She was really, really sweet. And we were also taking, like, and then I think, well, like, just before I moved out, we were taking care of my now cat, Layla. It was named Megatron at the time, because everyone thought it was a dude. It was actually a girl. And that's why I renamed her. Anyway. So for context, she, that girl who I told you that, you know, the one that had the ego, she texted me. She was like, hey, they're coming to inspect the apartment, and I need someone to take care of the cats for a week. And I was like, okay. And she was like, if you want, you can keep the other cat. And I was like, cool. So I get a free cat. And that's how I have Layla, who is now laying in her bed, just staring at the floor right now. But she's a sweetie, and I love her very, very, very much. She loves cuddles. Despite the fact she bit me earlier in this video, but that was just because I was kind of like in her face. So, you know, cats don't really like that, so. But other than that, like, she's spoiled rotten. She has toys galore. She has a bottomless food feeder, so she can feed herself whenever she wants, because she doesn't like wet food and this, that, and the other. So I'll probably do a video, like, just around her one day. But that was my life for the past 3 years. And then, like, the past year itself has been a process of healing and trying to better myself. And ever since I got out of that situation, my life has significantly gotten better. I found myself in a better group of friends. I have an amazing boyfriend. Like, and this one, I can't wait for you guys to meet this one, because, like, this is one that doesn't mind. He doesn't like taking pictures, but, like, well, he'll do it because he has to. But, like, I can do, like, best friend, boyfriend video. I don't know. I've been thinking about it for a while. But he doesn't mind me sharing with you guys. He's not as much of a private person as my ex was, despite the irony of something else. But I guess I'm not going to mention that because privacy reasons. And I'm not going to be that person that goes, oh, I dated this person. And I'm not going to say how you guys know my ex either, because I'm afraid of people digging. So I don't want to be the instigator of that either, because I don't want them coming back at me either. I will say this. I got something earlier this year that I wasn't expecting. I had to have a pet emergency with her because she got up really, really sick one morning. I was up with her at 4:30 in the morning because she was throwing up a whole mess of things. And so I had to take her to the emergency vet. And the emergency vet wanted me to get her health history, which I didn't have because I don't really contact any of my old roommates other than the one that I said that was my old high school best friend. I talk to him every once in a while now, but it is what it is. And I texted him, but he just left me on red, and I was like, what the hell? So I had no choice but to reach out to my ex, even though I literally had him blocked on everything, and he helped me out. And towards the end of that conversation, he ended up apologizing, which I never expected. And I think that was a very, very big part in my healing process as far as forgiving him, because I think there was a big resentment towards that because of it. And I honestly felt like I could go forward. And the only reason I'm doing this video is for you guys to explain where I was for the past 3 years of my life. But I won't be posting the vlog because it's like half a video, and like if anything it's just a clip, and I never really introduced you to any of my roommates, and I'm kind of glad I didn't. Like I said, my first time moving out, it was horrible. And like I said, and now I'm with my parents, and you don't really see my normal background because I don't sleep in the same room that I used to, because my old room is kind of like used as storage now, and I don't really go up in the other room anymore now, other than to hang out with my boyfriend when he gets a chance to come over. And when he has the time, he sees me. He's a very busy person. He has 2 jobs, but I mean, I'll do a whole nother video on him. There's a whole story there too, and I've known him for like 6 years, and now we've been dating for over a year. It's like, okay, let's just say all of our friends were like, it's about damn time. Not to meme or anything, but like, that's literally how it was. It was the meme before the meme. Like, everyone was like, finally, including my older adoptive brother. He was like, about time. And then our work best friend, she was like, about time. I knew it from the first moment she met me. So, but ultimately, like I said, I was happier. I will post the other video eventually. It's like I said, I Think Soon You'll Get Better by Taylor Swift, and I changed the lyrics, but because of the emotional vulnerability of it, that's the only reason why I've kind of like been hesitant on it. But other than that, yeah, that was why I didn't post for the last 3 years, because it was literally hell. And I feel like I've done these exclamation videos for far too long. And if you made it this far, great, thanks. If you did make it this far, leave a comment, because I don't know if anybody watches this far anymore. Especially because my channel kind of like died since I was gone. I've also contemplated making a new YouTube channel, but I just like sticking to the name Dark Hunters because it's cool, and I can't really think of anything else. So, also, if you see another YouTube channel called Dark Huntress, she fake. I was the original Dark Huntress. Hi. Change your name. I'm just kidding. But I was the original. I've been here since my freshman year of high school. So, we're going on like 10 years of YouTube. Let's go, guys. Hold on. I don't even know. Hold on. 2016. So I started high school in like 2012. So yeah, 10 years of YouTube. So if you made it this far in the video, comment 10 years down below. But that's where I've been. And if I post, I'll let y'all know. I don't really go on my Twitter anymore either, unless I like post about a video. So of course if I post, I'll be on there. I'll try to get back active on TikTok, but like I said, I had to leave the platform because it was becoming almost toxic for me. Because I made into addiction to kind of like escape from everything else going on, because I've had, sorry, my boyfriend was calling, ironically, but anyway, that's where it's been, and that's been my life, and I hope I can be more engaging with you guys from now on. I know I say that every single time. But I am also tired of it myself, being like, where have I been? Every single time, because I always lose motivation. So I think I won't post consistently, but I'll post when I have the motivation to. Which I kind of like have the motivation to make a video literally based around Layla. And I'll do probably a video with my boyfriend if he's up to it. I don't know. But that's it for right now. And she says bye. And I will see you guys soon, hopefully. Bye.